Hello everyone, I'm back, and today we're doing something a bit different. Today we're looking at the AFL, which is the Football League, obviously. Our ladder predictions for 2023. Now, I've got a very interesting opinion. I don't know if some people agree with me, some might not, but if you do, please like the video and leave a comment on what you think was gonna be like, and subscribe if you enjoy. So yeah. So let's get into it. So the minor premiers for next year, I have Brisbane finishing on top of the ladder. Now, a lot of people think Collingwood will, which don't see happening. Their list is good but not great. I think Melbourne or Geelong could also easily do it, but Brisbane have had a very good off-season, right? They picked up Josh Dunkley from the Bulldogs, terrific midfielder, and paired with Lachie Neale's already going to be a powerful midfield duo. They also had a good draft. They picked up Will Ashcroft from father-son bid, which he looks seriously good at football. Like, their midfield's stacked, as well as this new Jasper Fletcher kid. He looks pretty good too. So, yeah. Well as that, they also picked up Jack Gunston in the trade period, who's going to spice up their forward line even more. And they didn't really lose much. They lost Dan McStay, but again, he isn't doing too much for them. They've got now 3 decent key forwards. I mean, they've got Joe Danaher. He's good. I'll give it to him. He's good. Gunston's good. And Hipwood's flaky, which I'm surprised they signed him for so long, but yeah. They've got Charlie Cameron, who's the best small forward in the competition right now, so yeah, they're looking pretty stacked next year. I think they're gonna win the minor premiership. Got some great home games against some good teams, so yeah. Alright. Finishing second, I have the Melbourne Demons. After going out in straight sets, I don't think their coach is gonna be happy. I think they're gonna come out firing next year, and after a good trade period, pick up Brady Grundy. Grundy and Gordon ruck combo is gonna be seriously powerful, I think. Like, other clubs are gonna struggle with them a lot. But yeah, I think they're going to be a threat next year. They're going to come out hungry for another premiership, and I think they could easily do win another premiership. Like, would not be surprised. But yeah. As well as that, in the trade period, I believe they picked up Grundy, and take a look. I'm pretty sure they only picked up Brady Grundy. They may have picked up someone else too. Taking a look right now. Oh. Let's see. I know they did lose Luke Jackson, which is bad for them because he's a seriously good player. But they did pick up Brady Grundy, which I don't know if he's still going to be in good form after all his injuries. So we'll have to see. Jeez, I'm really struggling. Here it is. Oh, they got Lockie Hunter and Josh Shackey again. They're not really good. But yeah, Luke Jackson's a big. They also lost Sam Wiedemann to Essendon again. Don't see that making much of a difference, but yeah. So I think they're going to be coming out hungry and firing next year. And Petrarch and Oliver still being probably the best midfield duo in the competition. I don't think anyone else is going to come close to matching. Maybe Brisbane actually matching them in midfield numbers they had this year. Geelong, oldest team, premiership defense. I still see them as a very powerful side next year. I think the decline is gonna start after next year because well, we already know Selwood retired, which is the beginning of the end for their club because they're the oldest team in the competition right now, and all their best players are like 30s. It sounds like Hawkins is going into his last year with the foot injury, so again that would start to be the end for them, and it's already gonna show because if Hawkins starts to miss some games, then they're gonna be in trouble. Still got some great young guys too. Jeremy Cameron, not super young, but he'll hold up as the key forward after Hawkins retires. Dangerfield's getting old now. Still in good form though, given that. Smith, I mean, if he stays in his grand final form, then I'd offer a terrific year, but don't see that happening. So, yeah, I still see them as a better side, but I think some of these more younger and powerful sides, like Melbourne and Brisbane, will just start to actually beat them. But yeah, I still think they could easily finish minor premiers and win the premiership again, but I don't think they're gonna go for 3 Peter. Fourth, this was a hard choice between Richmond and Carlton for me, but take a look at their fixtures. I think Richmond has some easier wins, and Richmond had a terrific trade period. They only lost a couple of draft picks and they gained Jacob Hopper and Tim Taranto, and both of them had the midfield charge and engine that they needed, and their midfield's looking pretty powerful now. Addition to Prestia and Cochin, so yeah, it's a serious midfield now. I think they're going to win a couple more games than they did this year and push the top 4. In terms of drafting, they didn't do a whole lot. There's some later picks, but yeah. I'm expecting them to have a big year, the Tigers. Tom Lynch and Shai Bolton still in great form, kicking goals. Yeah, the fixture's pretty decent for them, so yeah. So 5th we have Carlton. They finally have to start doing something. It is ridiculous that it didn't make finals this year with the Coleman medalist and the Brownlow medals on their side. So yeah, that's why I think they will make finals. And be pushing the top 4 and maybe even finish top 4. And I think these 3 won't be contenders for premiership. These 5 will be contenders for premiership, but Carlton have a great list. Kerner and Mackay should take over as the key forward duo next year. Well, we know both of them are capable of winning Coleman medals, and yeah. So I think that they are still lacking in the small forward department, but I think they could fix that up in the next trade period after. They gained Blake Acres from Freo too. Good player, Blake. And they actually had a pretty good draft period. They had a top 20 pick, and he wasn't a half bad player. I'll give them that. He looks like pretty good. Great clearance charge out of the middle. So yeah, I think they're in a pretty good position for the next few years. Carlton. They can start winning some more games at Marvel too. But yeah. Collingwood. This is a very interesting one. I have them in 6th. This year they were very interesting to watch, and a lot of people think they're going to finish 1st and easily win the premiership, which I disagree with. Because if you look at them this year, right, they won a lot of games by less than 2 goals. And that's not going to hold up next year, realistically. A lot of these other better sides like Geelong, Brisbane, Melbourne, all those guys are not going to let them do that. I think a lot of their games this year were jokes against joke sides, but they did lose to some good sides like Geelong, Sydney. About it, really. Richmond beat them, I think. But, yeah, their trade period, they didn't pick up any crazy good players. They picked up Dan McStay, get another kind of medium key forward, adds to their mid forward line. But, they don't really have a racking key forward. Their forward line structure is interesting though, how it doesn't rely on one player like a lot of key forward lines do. I mean, you've got McStay and Majacek who are both capable of maybe a 40-goal season, maybe 50 even. We've got Jack Ginnivan and Jamie Elliott, both terrific small forwards. In fact, Ginnivan's kicking 40 goals in his 2nd year. I think looking for a great career, Ginnivan. And Elliott, well, we already know what he did this year. So yeah, if he can stay injuryless, then yeah. They picked up Tom Mitchell too from Hawthorn. He's an interesting player. I thought this year being a Hawks fan, he wasn't in great form, and he wasn't winning many clearances like he used to. Broken leg really messed him up, and I honestly think he has the same playstyle as Jordan De Goey, and De Goey's is better. So yeah, I don't actually see him doing much. Picked up Bobby Hill. I think he's actually a really good pickup for them, and he is going to be a great goal kicker for them next year. I think he pushes Bianco out of there to S22, but I think that's fine because he's going to be good. Well, Ash Johnson, another youngster coming through. But I don't think they'll finish as high because obviously Pendle's getting very old now, and he's retired. I think next year's his last year probably. And Sidebottom showed some glimpses of great footy, but also some glimpses of terrible footy. So I think he could possibly be in trouble, but who knows? Who knows? But I think Sidebottom is coming towards the end. Mason Cox getting older. He's an interesting one. He's more of a meme player than an actual very talented player, but I think they're in trouble, Collingwood. I personally don't see them winning a premiership, but Taylor Adams coming back in will help them too, but I honestly think they're not the side that everyone thinks they are. But I still think they're very good. Who knows? I could be completely wrong. This could finish first. They were great to watch this year, but yeah. So 7th, the Sydney Swans. Ugh, the grand final loss. Terrible game. I was bored out of my mind. But yeah, I just think that's what's going to make them go down. The grand final loss. It's great. Trade period, they did nothing. They picked up Aaron Francis from Essendon. Again, he didn't do much. Draft period, they got some. I think the first week was 24, so they didn't do much. Their fixture isn't great. So yeah, Swans are just in trouble. Um, Franklin's still been their leading goal kicker, and I'm pretty sure next year's also his last year because he's very old, isn't he? Signed for 1 year, so yeah, I think Buddy's retiring, and they're just in trouble now. I mean, Buddy was in terrible form in finals, so yeah. I mean, they've still got some great small forwards like Heaney and Papley, but I just don't see it anymore. I think it's time for this one to start making finals and rebuild. I think they will have to rebuild soon. Josh Kennedy retired this year too, so yeah, everything's going downhill. The Fremantle Dockers in 8th. This was a hard one because a lot of people think they're going to be very good next year, which I disagree with. They've got some great young talent, obviously being Andrew Brayshaw, one of the best players in the competition. Michael Frederick's very good. They did pick up. They lost Rory Lobb, which is bad for their scoring. So yeah, that could be quite problematic for them. Because I'm already their perennial low scorers, but yeah, I don't really see where the goal kicking's coming from. In the trade period, I don't think they really did anything. Take a look. Fremantle. They got Josh Corbett. They got Luke Jackson. That's gonna be helpful for them. Yeah. So he could maybe be a goal kicker. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be really the guy they need though. Him and Darcy will be a very powerful ruck combo though. Like that's gonna be scary. Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson in the ruck together. They also gained Jager O'Meara again. Looked in terrible form at Hawthorn this year. Wasn't winning any clearances with Tom Mitchell, but who knows? Maybe he could fit better into this midfield. I personally think he's washed. So yeah, I think the Dockers will just hold on. David Mundy, a massive loss for the club, retiring. So yeah, that five looks right at the end. So I think they're starting to lose some of their better older players too. So I think that's really the end of being a me good. I think they're gonna start to drop down next few years. One side I think is gonna start going up in the next few years. The Gold Coast Suns. They're looking great for the next few years. They've got obviously some terrific players like Took Miller, Marbo Chol, Noah Anderson, just some terrific talent all around the board. But I think next year will be another year of improvement. If they can really fortify Metricon and start turning into a winning ground for them, then I'll see them start to push the 8. And 2024, I'd say definitely top 8 side, start to become a threat. Even a few years after that, even a premiership contender. Who knows? Who knows? I honestly think, as weird as it sounds, I think they're going to win a premiership before Freo. And obviously before GWS, because they've got some great future ahead of them. In terms of the I'm pretty sure they also had a pretty good trade period too. Gold Coast. They got Ben Long, Tom Berry. Oh no, they didn't actually. They've got their payment problems, so that's a problem because they had to get rid of Jack Bowes and pick 7 because they have no money. That's one of their biggest problems. And one of their biggest problems for a long time is players always trading out, but yeah. They also lost Isaac Rankin, which was he at Gold Coast? No, yeah, he was at Gold Coast. But yeah, that's gonna be massive for them. Because he was really good this year, I thought. And slowly, as these players start to go away, then again, they can't keep all their good players forever, which just seems to be their biggest problem. But I still think they're in great form for the next few years. And players like Took Miller and Cholstein, I think they're looking at possibly the ultimate glory. But who knows? In 10th, the Port Adelaide Power. This is an interesting one. I don't know about these guys. I really don't know what's going to happen with them. I'm actually quite interested to watch them next year, but I honestly have no idea what's going on with them. In terms of their new players, they gained Horn Francis from North again. Don't think he's the player that everyone expects him and thinks he is, but I could be wrong. I think he'll go into their best 22 though. And they picked up Willie Greeley Jr., Morris Jr. Yeah, it was Morris that got from Richmond. Again, I think that will allow them to start rising up a bit, but I think really their best older players, they lost Carl Amon to Hawthorn in the trade period. Like Ollie Wines is starting to kick on. Really bad form after he won the Brownlow the year before. So, Charlie Dixon's still very flaky. But yeah, I just don't think there's that too many talented players on the list. But I still think there's enough to let them push up the ladder a bit next year. But next few years after, I think they're going down, down, down. All right, in 11th, I have the Western Bulldogs. I think their time's over. Just think it's simply over. All their premiership players are pretty much gone now. They've got barely any left. If Bolton can get back into form, they could stand a chance. But Liberatore's old. Smith injured a lot. Dunks left Brisbane, but yeah, I just think their midfield's slowly collapsing. And for a couple of years having the best, a couple of years ago they had the best. Now they have one of the most average ones going down. They got Coney Waitman in the forward line. He's good. Got Rory Lobb and Aaron Norton. Pretty good forward line actually. I'd say Lobb and Norton could become one of the better key forward duo in the competition, but again, their backline is terrible. Just they don't do anything. They let so many goals be kicked, but they did draft that new key defender from the draft. Forgot his name, but he looks pretty good, and that's what they needed. But I can actually see him going straight into their best 22, and he was a top 10 pick, I believe, maybe 11th or something. But it was close to it. But yeah, for now, I don't see where the improvement is, and I just see them starting to go down because again this year they snuck into finals, and yeah, they're just not ready for it anymore. In 12th, they have the Adelaide Crows. They've got some great youngsters developing at the club and coming through. They picked up Isaac Rankin, and they have some good home games next year with them this feature. So I think now is when they're going to start to improve again and really take on some of these better sides. I mean, they again proved this year they can fortify Adelaide level because they beat Carlton there, which and again beating Carlton this year was not much of a crazy flex, but I think slowly Adelaide's going to start getting very good very quickly. If you get what I'm saying, but some of their older players like Tex and what's his name, Keys, I think. Yeah. They also need to kick on. I think they need to start drafting replacements for them, developing replacements because they won't have them forever. But yeah, Rory Laird also in terrific form this year. Keep it. See him starting to push up. Hawthorn, the team I go for. Maybe this is biased. I put them so high, but 13th where we finished this year. I don't see us changing honestly. We lost Mitchell and O'Meara, but I think they had the worst clearance rate in the competition this year. Newcombe Moore in the middle were actually winning clearances, so all our new midfielders, but there's not much experience left in the club, and the average age is now 21. So I think it'll be a couple of years before we can be a real threat again. Once we are gonna get our crowds back, home games back on Saturdays. But yeah, but next year, I don't think we'll be as bad as people think because we still have a lot of good talent in the team, like John Newcombe, Josh Ward. We've still got terrific players like James Sicily, Chad Wingard when he's in form. But yeah, so I still think we have the ability to beat some of these higher sides. Cause we showed this year we could beat Geelong, which was a great game. We beat Brisbane, but I still think we will start to struggle against some of these sides. These sides like Melbourne, Richmond, stuff will run us over next year. And yeah, I think not enough experience yet, but when there will be, it's coming. 14th, I have St Kilda. They're in trouble. I'm not lying, they're in massive trouble. Start off the year as a top 4 side looking like, and they finished the year in terrible form. Finished 10th. So there was just a climate. Not actually that much talent compared to other sides. They've got Jack Steele. He's getting on now. I think he's 29. They've got Jack Sinclair. He's good. I'll give them that. Jack Sinclair is a good player. Brett Hill's getting old. But yeah, a lot of their better players are starting to get on, and as well as the recent news that Max King will be out for roughly half the year. It's gonna be bad for them. He's their leading goalkeeper this year. He's a flaky player though, but now they've got for half the year they're gonna have Tim Membry as their key forward and another flaky player. So I honestly think it's just not going to much success for the Saints. The draft is pretty draft. What's it called? Fixture's pretty rough on them, and I see them losing a lot more games than they did this year. Simple as that. In terms of the trade period, I don't think they did much either. Take a look. They got Zane and Cordy, and they give away Ben Long. It's nothing. They were planning to get Jordan Goey, but that didn't end up happening. So nothing in the trade period. I believe they did do a decent amount in the draft though. They picked up Matthias Phillip, who he looks good, tall midfielder, could work as key forward, but who knows? The rest of these guys, I don't know. They look pretty I don't know. They just don't see much real talent in them. So yeah, Saints I think are in trouble and time for them to stop being good. 15th I have Essendon. I don't see them changing much. They are operating under Brad Scott, who is going to be a better coach than what they had before, and I can slowly see him leading to finally winning a finals game. They've been dog shit the past few years. Since 2004, I think they've won a final, and embarrassing club, because they are such a popular club, and they let their fans down all the time, but I think they need to start really rebuilding their side and continuing to develop their youngsters, and their older players aren't really terrific. Who have they got? 2 meter Peter Wright. Zach Merritt's good. I'll give them that. Sam Draper's a good youngster coming through, but they've got these players who shine, and there's also some other dud players in their team. Like a lot of them are dud players. Even their old players like Dyson Hairbull, he's not crazily good. Never really was crazily good. Anthony McDonald, Tippin Woody's coming back with a massive gut, so he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get back into form. And I don't see it because when he retired, he was in terrible form, but. Yeah, I don't see much happening for the Bombers next year, apart from rebuilding, developing their youngsters. In 16th, I have North Melbourne. I think it's finally time for them to stop winning the spoon under Alistair Clarkson, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think it's time for them to start pushing up and beating some of these sides again. I don't think they're going to be beating many, if any, top 8 sides, but and then we'll start against these average sides. I think they'll be able to stand up and beat some of them next year, and start to produce a 16th finishing season. They've got some great youngsters on the team, and they're also developing. But I think they're starting to look in better form. Looks like to me Goldstein's last year, which again I don't think it's actually going to change much because he's not terrific Goldstein, but I just think there's a lot of still problems with the club's list, and needs to start getting some real talent in. But I think they did great in the draft by having picks 3 and 4, getting George Wardlaw and Harry Cheezel, which both of them look very good, and yeah, I think it's time for them to start doing stuff again. 17th, I have GWS. They're in huge trouble. Traded all their players away for draft picks, like all of them. I mean, who have they got now? I can't even think. Harry Himmelberg, Toby Green. That's about it. When you look at their draft, they picked up a lot of players, which I think could be good for them. I mean, they obviously had pick 1 with Aaron Cadman, big key forward, which they haven't really had a great one since Jeremy Cameron. Unless they picked up Harry Rowstone in the top 20, which he looks good. Darcy Jones, 21. Max Grzuski. Grzuski? Yeah, I think 22. And Toby McClellan, 34, which those are some great picks. They had so many top 40 picks. But yeah, I personally think that they're in trouble for the next few years, but if they start to develop all these youngsters, then they could be making a comeback. I mean, we know the club has the ability to play in a grand final, but I mean, they're scratching it. But yeah, I still think for now they're in massive trouble. But the club who's even in worse trouble, the Eagles, there's just nothing happening there anymore. What can I say? COVID ruined their club. Josh Kennedy retired this year. He was their leading goalkeeper with 37 goals. It's not much, and yeah, I don't know who's going to kick their goals anymore. I could literally see them winning 0 games next year. Not much talent on the list. All their old Premiership players are out of form and washed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's just nothing. They didn't do anything in draft or trade period, I believe. Draft period. Let me take a look at their draft. That's really what they need fucking plays from now. They're not going to really get much from trades because they got Ruben Ginby at pick 9. Okay, Elijah Hewitt at pick 14. Oh, okay. Their draft wasn't actually as bad as I remembered. And Harry Barnett, pick 23. Cody Bergill, pick 29. Okay, well, they can start to develop these guys. Yeah, I remember now. Ruben Ginby does look like a good player. So does Hewitt, but for now, I think they're in massive trouble. In terms of the trade period, I don't think they did anything, did they? They got Jaden Hunt. What's he gonna do? So yeah, I think the Eagles are in trouble, and they were again the fix is not gonna make a difference because everyone else is better than them. But yeah, that's sad because that was such a great club a couple of years ago. But yeah, that's it for the video. That's my predictions. Let me know if you agree, and thank you for watching. Catch you next time.